Hello, Miles. Thank you for setting aside some time so we can talk about this project that I've been working on recently. As a reminder, it's a reserve review for this account where the latest two diagonals in the triangles are coming much higher than the older years, where I suspect that there have been some changes in the claims handling process. I was unsure about how to go through this, so as you recommended, I talked to the claims analyst team, their department head, to get more insight on the account if there have been any changes recently. And he reported back that there have been no changes in the claims handling process. So I am unsure on how to move forward. I don't know what has been causing these changes in the diagonals, and I'm a little skeptical on how to make selections on that. I've been thinking I could be more responsive to the increasing diagonals and select shorter term LDFs, but this has the risk of overstating the older years, where conversely, I could be more stable and select a longer term LDF for these ages, but this has the effect of understating the recent years that are coming up high. So I don't think a simple chain ladder method will be appropriate in this situation.
How do you think we should proceed then?
So I've been thinking of other ways to approach this reserving problem. One that comes to mind at first is the Berkowitz-Sherman adjustment, where we restate the historical years for the current claims handling patterns that we're seeing in the latest diagonal. So for adjusting the paid losses, I would look at the disposal rates and make a selection on a final disposal rate for each age and apply that to restate the older years' paid losses. And to address the change in case reserves, I could select a severity trend for paid losses and detrend the average case reserve from the latest diagonal. This would solve the issues that we're seeing in the data, but this would require a lot of data and a lot of work. We would need a full set of claim count triangles, closed, open, and reported. And we would also need to do a little dive into selecting an appropriate severity trend for detrending the average case reserve. Another approach is the Bornhueter-Ferguson method, which is a blend of the standard chain ladder method and a prospective exposure method. So unfortunately, this would still show any overstating in the older years and possibly understating the recent years, but this would mitigate the effects that we would see in the data as opposed to just using a simple chain ladder method.
Those both seem like reasonable approaches to the problem at hand. How will you move forward then?
So I'm thinking about moving forward with the Berkowitz-Sherman approach. This would be more accurate, but it more accurately estimate reserves for the changes in the diagonals that we're seeing. However, this will require more work and more data that we need. So first things first, I will request the data that we do need, the additional sets of claim count triangles, and I will need to spend some time looking at the average paid loss to see what kind of severity trend would be applicable for the account. And in the meantime, if we don't get the data that we need in time, or we're running out of time, or the data just simply isn't available, then I'll prepare the Bornhueter-Ferguson method in the meantime, just to have it ready as a fallback in case we can't get that extra data. Because although I would prefer the Berkowitz-Sherman method to be more accurate, the Bornhueter-Ferguson is still a valid approach and will still provide benefit for us.
Sounds like you have a solid plan on how to approach this issue.
Thank you. I will go back to work. I will continue reviewing this account. I'll send out those requests for the data, and if I have any questions, I will let you know as soon as possible.